Okay, you're good to go.
Thanks. Okay. I always like to have fun. So here's my first thing before we get into this very fascinating, over the top subject of creating and managing your chapter budget. My theme is be vested in MNWT. So my question is, what sort of car does a rich B drive? Come on, ladies. A
BMW.
Beamer, a Beamer. There we go. That's my lame joke. Okay, so yes, I am the financial VP, Cindy Golba from the Glenville chapter, and I was honored to be able to be part of Janice's team this year. And as always, it's great to stretch and have this chance to grow in positions. So with that saying, my disclaimer is if I don't have an answer for you, I will pass the question on to Janice and she'll find the answer. We'll find an answer for you, okay? So I'm putting on my timer because I want to be just aware of the time that I have with you guys. So next slide, please. So that treasurer position, who handles those finances? And I'm gonna, is that my very first one? Sorry, I have to go back and look at something. Yeah, who handles it? So the treasurer on this website, and you can see I have that link right there. It talks about the treasurer duties, and it is not just for the treasurer. Although the treasurer has a big part of it, the treasurer keeps track of the finances, the chapter finances, manages a checkbook, and reports the chapter's financial status at each meeting, and assists with the annual audit. So, and like I said, I won't remember all of it, and I apologize if I grab a Kleenex. I've been suffering with a cold for a while. But in that manual, in case somebody goes, we would never do this to our board members. We would never say, treasurer, that's your duty, because each board member is equally responsible for the chapter's finances. So the board members are asked to look at your report, ask questions, and that helps them make the decision. Sort of like, the next screen, please, or next slide. So my question that I have for you guys is budgeting. Does it seem like a bummer to think about it? But here's what I think of. Do we have a household family budget? Does your work or your business have a budget? I used to work for human services, and when I did that, a lot of times, and I am not throwing anybody under that bus, but I'd find that sometimes the people that I worked with that would have emergencies had not budgeted their money. And some just didn't have the available means, and that was a different story. But when I looked at a budget, and again, I'm not saying I'm like the best at budgeting, but back in the day, my budget was, we're not going to pay for a dish or satellite so that we can have all these wonderful channels, because we were on a budget. And you know what? I think we still turned out okay. My kids turned out okay, even without that. So the budget, we need to work within it, and it's everywhere. Businesses with COVID, their budgets changed, they had to make adjustments. So why should we have that budget? Because we're raising funds for charities, and even as we volunteer our time, we raise funds. Look at the seminars that we might put on for our people in the community. Is money the root of all evil? I don't think so, but we certainly need to know what we're doing with it. So most of these activities or events that we hold will have a financial aspect to it. How it ties into like programming, somebody will say, well, I volunteered my time. That is awesome. Let's look at what your volunteer time is that you just committed to that organization or to that community service. So that budget serves as a guide for the months ahead, and it shouldn't be written in stone because it's going to change. So it's really fluid, and it helps us decide on priority of chapter spending. I'm going to just ask if you guys can raise your hand. I'm curious how many treasurers, district or chapter treasurers that we have. I see some hand raising. Thank you. So feel free to jump in, ask questions, because again, this is, when I do a presentation, it's always interactive. I want to be able to make sure that we have, that it's not just me up here talking. I want to be able to see what you guys, what your thoughts are, and help work us through to the end. So, and even looking, this little blue box, when I was doing research on it, you know, it helps us plan for any financial support, manage and controlled spending, focus and direction. So when, does anybody like to get away for the winter? Me? All of us, but in order to do that, got to have a little budget, put some money aside, right? Then we can plan it. So next slide, please. So what is a budget? Again, it's a detailed plan. It's a list of planned revenues and expenses, a plan for saving and spending, and it's estimates of income and expenditures. So tell me something that you guys, and it doesn't have to be women of today. Here's my interactive. I have no chocolate to throw at you guys, but maybe I'll write your name down and you can go in a drawing. I love giving things away. It's a sweet treat. Throw out something that you have budgeted for. It doesn't have to be women of today.
Vacation.
Vacation. Robin, make sure you tell me who you are so I can put you down.
Robin, ECC.
Thank you. Anybody else?
A cruise.
Who said cruise?
Jeannie from Albany.
Jeannie, Albany. All right. Anybody
I
else?
like-
Wedding.
What was that?
Wedding.
A wedding. Woohoo. How long do you think it takes to budget for a wedding?
How about a
A
new car?
while.
A new car. Who said that?
Kathy Snyder, and I gotta go.
Kathy, great. I wore purple for you, girl.
I know. Thank you. I got a US meeting.
I
Talk to
know.
you later.
Oh, dental work. Oh, Tanya,
Ooh,
will you help you know? Yeah, okay. I'm not smiling about that, but so that's what I'm
Home
saying.
improvement.
What, home improvement. You guys, these are all, well, for the most part, we hope that a home improvement is
Your
budgeted.
education.
Education. So anybody else?
New flooring in my house last year. It costed a lot.
Did you plan that or did that just occur?
I wanted to get rid of the carpeting, and my son-in-law and daughter put my new flooring in, so we all worked together, and it costed much, but it's a lot easier to take care of.
Okay, thanks for your interaction, ladies. So what I'm getting at is that budget. So let's say life happens, because it does. Let's say we're not budgeting for that new car, and we didn't have a savings for that new car. Well, then we're going to definitely go on a budget, because we got to figure out where we're going to get that money from. And dental, yeah, that dental work, you're going to have to pay for that. I don't know, maybe they would do monthly payments, but I guess what I'm getting across is that it is a plan for the future. And so I want to say straight off, it's not just, oh, Connie, finishing the basement. Fun. There are so many things that we need to budget for, and I am not gonna say this is how you're going to do it for your home. You guys, work with your family. And that takes me to the next slide, please. When we look at a budget, we say, is this ongoing? Is there going to be an end? And that's where I use the word fluid, because as you can see, and I'm sure all of you, here's my little tease, all of you fuel oil. I'll tell you what I do with that, Tara. Thanks for that question. My husband and I, we have LP heat. So what, if any of you can relate to this, in the summer, we start finding out how much heat we need, how much LP, and then we find it retirement Shirley. I'm going to Shirley. And we find that, and then we set up a budget for LP so that we can have it. Because back in the day, I don't know about you guys, but do you guys get extra, let's say your salary, or not salary, but you have an hourly wage, you're paid twice a month, and your pay is pretty consistent, for the person working outside of the home. So along comes the season of winter in Minnesota, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all of those things. Do your checks increase just because it's winter? Because it's
No.
Christmas? No. So we got to look at that budget and prepare that budget. So what, I'm not saying it works for everybody, but what I did even with the Christmas budget is I would take so much out of my check, and it was so that I didn't notice it. And then I could, come November, they could send me my little Christmas club money and I could say yes. But that budget, preparing it, negotiate, agree on the budget, because everybody's going to have a different view, and monitor it. So what I wanted to make sure that we recognize, we are a nonprofit organization, and the definition of a nonprofit is 1/3 of chapter income is for operating costs and 2/3 is donated. And that was from the mini orientations of the MNWT website. So gals that are budgeting, how often, and again, it's not like I'm gonna say you're wrong, because it's different for every chapter. How often is the budget reviewed?
Each trimester.
Okay, yep. And I'm gonna ask my wonderful Tanya, will we have these wonderful ideas, the messages, flooring and all of that? Will that be saved for me if I didn't get it all down?
I will save it because I have to send it in for success, so I can always send it to you.
Thank you. So, it does not hurt to look at when you have that budget started, and you have once a year, yep, each trimester. When you have that budget and you've prepared it and presented it to your membership and they've looked at it, really at the time that you can do it on trimester. For our state organization, we do it mid-year. So I would love to have you, and no pressure, I would love to have you come and join us at a finance meeting. Here's my plug. The next one is coming up is March 3rd. March what? Let's see if I got my dates right.
March 4th.
Thank you, Madam President. Or whoever that was, the voice that came out.
It was your
That's
friend,
what-
Amy.
Amy, thank you. Because, I can't always remember all that things. Maybe I'm starting my own finance meeting on the 3rd, Amy. No. Okay, so come to our meeting. But we look at our budget in May. We break it all down. We look at what we expect. And then at mid-year in January, we review it. And because by then, we have gone through the first trimester and the second trimester, and we are knowing that this is what we can expect for those expenses. So at the end of 3 months, evaluate how well your budget worked or what it is. So next slide, please. Feel free to jump in at any questions. Ladies, women of today can teach us a lot of things. My PowerPoint was not as on point as I wanted. So this is a summary. It is not the actual. If you want to see the actual, that's what it says. See actual at this site right there. So I took, Tania's going, yep. I didn't want to do 5 pages of this. So condensed, summarized. I wanted to make it so that you guys would stay with me and stay awake. So some of our income, if you guys have seen any of this before, if you have questions on it, again, I did not put them all in there. That's my disclaimer, but state source sales, income, ways and means. What do you guys think of ways and means? You guys have it in your own chapters? I'm going to my chat box. Okay. Finance committee fundraising, member dues, programming, conventions. Thanks, Shar. Miss you, girl. Other income. That was a plethora of items that I put under other income. So we looked at that, the original budget, and then at mid-year, we came up with these figures. Okay. So next slide, please. Again, summarized, see the actual budget on our website. It's like homework assignment for you gals. Again, I summarized some of these in expenses, dues and membership programming, state store expenses, payroll, chapter service center expense. When I am so, sorry, I am so thankful and blessed to have, I'm going to put on my glasses so I can see better, to have a great finance committee. And the reason I say that is because we have a lot of knowledge. We have new members with new ideas and suggestions. And I like to think that we are open and they've heard it from me before. Let's have fun with fundraising, and it can be fun. But when we look at all of this, these ladies with their knowledge, they can really break it down, you know, like the awards, the newslet. So who thinks with the newslet? Who thinks with the newslet? That's a great thing, which we have Amy Pumper, who's going to be taking the newslet and getting that out. And that's a great newsletter with all of our information. But everyone knows printing's gone up. So, you know, you saw where it was, and you saw under the original budget was $68.90. The mid-year budget is $76.20. Because when we send that out for printing, the cost has gone up. Conventions, officer expense, and total expenses. So do I have something at the very end on that, Tanya? Or is it cut off?
The bottom just has like under the very first column says $4,137.32, and then the original budget $16, and under the mid-year it's $515.90.
So does everybody know what that's about? So what that means is at the time that we set the original budget, we basically balanced within $16, anticipating that everything was going to go as scheduled. But we could reevaluate it at mid-year in January. And so now we say, with our income, with our expenses, we expect to have that larger figure. So questions on that? Next slide, please. So I took, because I wanted to just give you guys an idea, and I know I have some analyticals here. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them. I like my numbers and I admire you girls that are analytical. So you're probably, thank you for not calling me out. But I wanted to make it that this is just an overview. And if you really like figures, again, I'm going to invite you to our meeting on March 4th. Come March 3rd, come and see me. I'll probably be at the hotel the night before. So some of these categories of income and expenses were the sales, the ways and means, finance committee fundraiser, and membership dues. So these are some of our incoming areas. Programming. So you're like, we get money in programming, in income, but if you look over at the expenses, some of that's going to go out too. We get income in newslet and insurance and chapter liability. Right across from it is the general liability insurance. So same thing, like it will show executive council shirts and state president gift. Those executive council shirts, that's money that comes in, but that's money that goes right out. So it really is sort of a wash. The reason I'm throwing those ideas out is because, and even expenses of cost of sales, credit card fees, postage, mailing, the website, the awards. Did I mention postage? We talked about that. We're like, what's the cost of postage? Oh, it's going up again. Tanya, can you buy extra stamps, like forever stamps now, to help save us some money? That's how we looked at our budgeting. Next slide, please. So what I did, ladies, is I just took a chapter budget. And if you look at that, again, I tried to be respectful of not putting anybody's name in it. And I'm going to just say it was from a few years ago, but this is just a small little thing. And it came in from an Excel spreadsheet. You guys don't have to do that. Our chapter treasurer manual has another good copy of it. But basically, income, under your income, what's coming in, dues. Maybe you have a grant from a store or something that gives you money. So then you would put that in. What kind of income are you getting from? You're getting income from that picnic that you put on. Maybe you have a sunshine day, you're having bingo, and what's those expenses? Same thing if you have a town festival and or if you don't want to use the word festival, think of it as those craft shows, right? What's the income coming in and what's the expenses? And then you see on the right, it shows what is the current fundraiser that you have. Tastefully Simple, butter braids, Stampin' Night. And so then you have all that and you show what your total income was, okay? $47.35, if you're following me with that. Over on the right side, it's internal expenses. Internal and external, are you guys okay with those, or do you want me to go into more explanation on it? No? Okay. Internal, of course, would be sort of thinking of internal within your chapter and things that are, I don't want to say a set, but oftentimes it can be set like that if you have a post office box or the district dues, or and the liability insurance, that might change a little bit, but those are some set expenses. But then you have external donations. Maybe you as a chapter have it set up in your budget that you're going to do a scholarship. Maybe you're going to do a donation to the foundation. Or maybe you're going to do a donation to the senior bingo. Elementary, you're doing a yearly budget or a yearly donation to your elementary or the foundation. So you looked at those total internal expenses of $23.85, the external donations of $23.50, and you're good, you're golden. So next slide, please. This is sort of a district budget, and hope District 8 doesn't jump on me. But I took this and I loved it. So I want to say kudos to Tevian and those guys in just looking at this. Okay. Again, it doesn't have to be this complex. it doesn't have to have previous, but let's look at what the beginning balance was from the previous year, the district dues from the chapters. If the chapters or the districts do Lucky Bucks, any fundraising, and again, that section shows your income. And then it shows the expenses. As a chapter or district, you know, when you're building this budget, you're going to be building it basically with your board, but you certainly want to invite anybody that wants to come and learn. When Tevian talked about succession planning, gosh, that'd be great. And I think the more that we can have more people in, they are going to think of things that I'm going to probably forget. So your expenses, district director expenses, a lot of you guys, this is sort of a standard for districts, but maybe it's not. And it gives you something to think about. MnJOTs, mid-year incentives, district excitement. There's some districts that are really over the top with district excitement. So I think that they all get Mountain Dew before they go to conventions. District general expenses, Mountain Dew or maybe margaritas. District general expenses, any of those expenses are set in place. So, and then at the very end, they reserve for next year, $300. So I always want to encourage that you have a reserve for the upcoming year, because if your year ends the end of May, you know, when you're looking at it, you have a district director that you're sending off, you want to be able to help them meet that expense when she goes right away to her district director training, which would be at MnJOTs. Does anybody know what MnJOTs stands for? Anybody want to guess? Amy Pumper?
Training session.
Awesome. And it is the best time. It's training, but it's fun. Next slide, please. Okay, so the budget, you guys took all this stuff, you looked at it, now what? So here is my friend from District XX. Maybe they're up north somewhere, huh? So at the chapter district meeting, this was a district report, and they basically had the amount, any credits, the deposits, and so then again, it's really clean and crisp, and they listed what the checks were wrote out for. And again, I tried to protect or recognize, I didn't want to put anybody on the spot for what the district director had spent. So I just put district director, but obviously in your records, you would put DD Robin or DD, you know, whoever your DD is, because that's who you wrote the check out to, check number 1783. And that was for supplies for that district meeting. Same thing. But that district director knows, because she's looked at that budget, she knows what she has to spend. And something that we do on a state level is, I'm trying to think if I have I'll Jojo, can I pick on you if she's still there? Jojo has a budget for parliamentarian, and her budget is this, her budget is a certain figure. So for her mileage and for her supplies. So if Jojo submits a voucher to me, I send it on. Our accountant writes a check. So think of that as the treasurer writing the check. And then we provide to Jojo what her balance is remaining. So if she has spent $100 out of her supplies and communication budget, and she only had 150, we provide her a little note like, hey, you got $50 left. So, okay, next slide, please. So I want to just reiterate, when you are working on this budget, And whether you're planning for a vacation or you're planning for your chapter, make sure you involve the current board. And this is things, and it looks like, wow, that treasurer, she's got a lot to do. But it's okay to ask for help, and using that same thing. If if you're the treasurer and you go, maybe you're working with a membership person, because collecting and processing the member dues, that's something that you can sort of tag with that membership person. Reconciling the bank statements, doing the reports, reporting the board and the chapter, and then doing the online transmittals with the chapter reports. Trimester, monitoring those budgets. Annually, preparing mail and mailing the sales tax return and payment. If the chapter liability, do we have that coming up, Miss Tanya?
Yes, it'll be coming out here shortly.
You know, I would just want to say, I have a couple treasurers from a couple chapters that are like, has it come out yet? And I'm like, not yet, but way to go, you're ready. They know. Annually, that audit, it doesn't need to be completed by an accountant, and help the board prepare the budget, file the 990, and then the annual registration. Throughout the year, that treasurer is going to be a member of the board of directors and oversee the chapter finance business. So, sorry, that tells me my time's almost up. Next slide, please. So, some tips. You guys, I tried to condense this because that chapter manual treasurer manual is big, but you know, for each month with the prepared report, the date, the beginning, the income received, expenses, and the ending cash balance. And if you have that set up, it flows really easy. Just, you know, have it set in whatever is your easiest way for you to do. What do you guys have that works for you? I think a lot of times people use Excel spreadsheets, but what's anything else? No, quiet. So in highlighted yellow, success points can be earned. So make sure your report is dated. Next slide, please. Budgeting with the board and the team. So, and I just took this right from the front of the chapter treasurer manual. It addresses dues and insurance, sales tax, charitable gambling, transmittals, state ways and means, chapter audit, records. It doesn't mean that we need to know all of this, because we're here. People have asked me questions, and again, I'm like, I'm not sure, but let me get back to you. If you're not sure, go to your board, ask them. If they don't, you know, if they're like, I don't have a clue, go to your district director or your district treasurer, or come to me, shoot me a text, whatever. I will get back to you, and I will help you find the answer. So we are here as a team, the Buzz team. Next slide, please. So I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for being invested in Minnesota Women of Today. I love this organization for the leadership, for everything that it's provided, and for the fellowship and the growth, and being able to meet you awesome ladies and to learn from you. So thank you. Any questions? I'll make it sound like a vote. Any questions? Hearing no questions. If you have questions, remember, reach out to Janice. No, I'm joking. If you have questions, I am happy to help you, and I appreciate all of you and all the work that you do. So I have at 7:25. Is there? Karen was having problems with their audio. Okay. anything else? I have a couple more jokes if we're looking to stall.
Nope,
Can
we don't need to stall anymore. I'm back.
Wait, Madam President. May I just ask this last question?
Yes.
Where do the bees like to go on holiday?
Don't have a clue.
To the beach.
Oh, of course.
That's it. You go, Madam President. Thank you.
I just have one question. There's two new people on. I see Sarah Midas from Rice. Is Carol from Rice, or who is Carol from? Or where is Carol from? The Civic Environmental Award or the Community Impact Award? And I'll talk in a little bit more detail about each different award. And if you can go to the next slide, please. So a successful joint ventures project is sponsored in collaboration with another organization. And both organizations will be recognized if your project is chosen to win the award. Next slide, please. Here's just some examples of projects who've won in the past. Crisis Nursery, a kids event done with the Lions, Veterans Lunch with the Legion Auxiliary, and a pumpkin patch with the City Park and Rec Board. Can you, Tanya, if you click and then hit your enter bar, it'll take you straight to the,
that one?
no.
Yeah.
If you do control and then hit your space bar, it should take you to that form.
That one?
Yep. So here's the form, and basically what you do is you describe the project and how did you work with another organization to bring the project to fruition. How did you advertise, and how is the community going to benefit from the project? And now, of all these forms, the second page is stats, things like the name, the population of the community, who your contact person is, who led the project, what's the size of your chapter, and that's basically it for that. Okay, then we can go to the next slide. So I would just like for people to jump in and just give me some ideas of projects or share ideas that your chapter has nominated for the joint ventures in the past.
We've done a Memorial Day cookie bake sale with our local VFW and American Legion. And we've done a Christmas movie / bake sale event in cooperation with the Chamber of Commerce in Aiken.
Okay. Anybody else want to share?
In Avon, we have worked with our Chamber of Commerce for our Magic of Christmas crafts sale.
Okay.
However, we did so well that the chamber decided to give it to us. So now we're doing it, but we have nominated them in the past.
Okay, so we'll move on and we'll just talk about the project that won last year. So this chapter had a strong relationship with True Friends Camp Friendship since they chartered in 1987. And they reached out to someone at True Friends and asked how they could help support Camp Friendship. And so they did a collection of art supplies members donated art supplies totaling $300, and they delivered them to the camp. And many campers would benefit from these supplies. And the winner of that award last year was the Monticello Women of Today. I don't know if you remember doing that last year, Connie and Barb. So next we have civic or environmental projects. So this could be something where you're improving the town or the city, working on a park project, you're promoting citizenship, or you're promoting an activity to improve the environment. Next slide. So some examples could be adopt a highway, doing flower planting to beautify a certain street, or hosting an election forum. And you can do the same thing and take us to the forum. So once again, you'll just give a good description of the project and specify whether it's a civic or an environmental project and how you publicized it and what kind of lasting impact it will have on the community. And then any other information that you'd want to provide. And the second page is kind of the same as the last one. So once again, would people be willing to share award or nominations that they made for civic and environmental awards?
The Duluth chapter, for a few years ago, we did the our Veterans March and program that we do every year here in Duluth, and we won one year.
Yay. Yay. And that's like you had the parade, right, for the Veterans Day or for Memorial Day or something?
We do a Memorial Day parade also, but this is
Okay.
to honor veterans on Veterans Day.
Okay.
I think another project that works really well is plastic collections that a lot of towns do and do it together with the community to get these benches to put in our community. And it just makes it nice that everybody can accept what's going on and enjoy the benches that they get that we put around all over around in Avon and in the areas and stuff to make it look nice through the town. And it makes everybody work together and it makes the environment better to have all these plastics collected and used instead of taken to landfills.
Something that Rochester did many years ago. Rochester has a program called Litter Bit Better, and community groups can choose a section that they want to do or be assigned a section, and you work with the city to clean it up. We cleaned up a section of a park that was in very bad shape. You wouldn't believe the things that you found.
Oh, yeah. Sarah shared that the Rice chapter has done a couple sections of Adopt a Highway in their community. Well, I think we'll move on then to and talk about the and it's funny that you would bring this up, Arlene, because Melrose won for collecting plastic last year and getting it recycled, working with the community and different businesses in the Melrose area to help them be places where people could take their plastic and get it recycled. And then, you know, the newspaper also helped with advertising and the information was shared on social media and by word of mouth. And their goal was to collect 100 pounds of plastic a week. And I think they've probably done more than one bench already too in their community. So that was the Melrose Women of Today last year. kind of become a popular project in our central Minnesota here. Because I know Sauk Rapids does it too, so.
And Albany does it. So a lot of areas are
Albany
doing
has
it.
done it since 2019.
Wow.
And I have worked with several organizations to help them with it. We have recycled 17,500 pounds already and
Wow,
got 24 benches. I think is
Wow.
what is that?
that's awesome.
That's a great accomplishment
Yep.
for everybody.
Yes. Thank you. Next slide, please. So community impact projects are projects that don't fall into any the other two categories. So some examples are a kid's bike safety event. I think there's a couple more there. Collecting hygiene items to fill purses for a women's shelter. And a Santa workshop to benefit the kids in the community. So it's about the same form, but we'll take a look at it just to take some time. So once again, just describe the project and kind of what does it say? How many members were involved and how many hours that you spent and how it's going to affect the community. And if you just raised money, how was it raised and how was it donated? And so for all of these, if you do the online form, it will go straight to the programming vice president or Community Connections SPM. There's a $5 fee, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but if you download the PDF form, then you would mail it and you would have to find out from our programming vice president, Shirley, where to mail it, because we don't have addresses posted on the website. So once again, I'll just ask for input from people, ideas that you would like to share of community impact projects that you did.
Think maybe our baby shower that we do with an organization that helps young mothers become better mothers.
Sure.
I think that one might go here.
Right.
We do a baby shower too, but we also make buntings and blankets, burp rags, and different things throughout this trimester. I mean, trying to get enough made to send to, I can't think of, my mind's a blank.
Bundles of love.
Thank you, dear. Yes.
That was my foundation when I was Community Connections SPM. That's why I remember it.
That's one of my favorite ones, and
Yeah.
why I forgot it, I don't know.
I know several chapters probably have different events around Christmas time for kids, like a Santa
You give a
workshop
gift.
or a Santa shopping.
Give a gift program.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to who won last year. So this chapter monthly was going to the local food shelf to put together boxes of food for elderly members of the community that were homebound. And the seniors were receiving these items. And and they were allowed to choose from different categories so that they not only received what they needed, but what they wanted. And then the chapter also put together some care packages with socks, calendars, chapsticks, and puzzle books, and delivered. I don't think they were involved in delivering these packages, but they were involved in helping sort things and getting these things ready for delivery. And the Coon Rapids Women of Today were the ones responsible for nominating this project and winning the award last year. So just a few more details. You want to submit these nominations by April 15th because there will have to be some judging done. And there's, like I said, there's a $5 fee. So if you submit your nomination online, then you would send a check to the Chapter Service Center with the memo saying year-end Community Connections Award, so that we can tie it with the project that's nominated. And
That is for if you do all three, it's $5 each, correct? If
no,
you,
it's $5 for each one.
right, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you do all three, it would be
15.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we have any questions? I guess this didn't last as long as I thought it would.
This is Bonnie from Maple Grove. We've
Yes.
done the plastic project with the Rotary Club of Maple Grove. So since so many people have submitted this, does that mean that we shouldn't do it?
No, I mean, you may have had a little bit different impact, or you worked with a different organization. So, I mean, I would nominate it.
Okay.
If nothing else, nominate it for a project of the trimester too.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You have to remember, a lot of people do it, but a lot of people don't enter it either, so.
Yeah.
Your chance, you know what I mean? You can't count on everybody who does it choosing that project, so just because 15 chapters does it doesn't mean they're going to get 15
Nominations.
nations or
Yeah.
projects of the try, because we always could use more nominations.
Right, yeah.
But it does seem that other chapters have been nominated and won for this project. Right. So it's just a matter of, is there fatigue on this?
Oh, sure, yeah. Yep, good point, Bonnie.
And these are US awards, right? They're not.
No, these are Minnesota.
They are.
Yep.
Okay. Someone told me they were the United States awards. Okay, I learned something new.
Now, this is specific to Minnesota. Well, I want to thank you all for coming and spending time with us tonight. And if you have any questions that come up later, just shoot an email to me or any of the presenters, Tevian or Cindy, and we will do our best to answer.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Kristen that gave me, we talked about examples of budgeting, and Kristen said things that you could budget for would be like dental work. What chapter is she from? What's her last name?
Champlin, Kristen Lures.
Champlin?
Yes.
Kristen, are you still on?
She's muted.
Okay. So Kristen like I said, I like to get interaction, and all you guys that asked, what do you budget? And you gave me answers. Her name was drawn, so she is gonna get a little sweet surprise from me. Will she be at convention? Maybe. Kristen from Champlin. I'll figure it out. Thanks.
Well, ladies, stay safe. Hopefully we'll dig ourselves out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you very
night.
much.
Yeah,
Good night.
Good night.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.